Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, let's talk about what in the hell happened today to Tesla and NVIDIA, both down 4%, which I'll go over in NVIDIA's video as well, of course, right after this. But yeah, let's just talk about it. A pretty wild day for the most part, to say the least. So let's talk about it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, etc., I do have a YouTube membership section. The link is down below in the description. There's a link to it. Just click that at the top of the description. You can access to my membership, right? Just $3 a month. You can access to all my thoughts, posts, updates, etc., on mainly Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks as well. Like for instance, I've been talking about AMD, Intel, and Nike, and guess what? AMD is green 2%. Intel is green. You know, it did sell off, but hey, still green, 1.5%. And Nike with a nice looking 2.5% as well. So nice stuff to see there. Link is down below if you're interested, or for $5 a month, literally just $5 a month. You can access to all that and also NVIDIA daily updates. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day with an absolutely painful 4% reversal day. And I say painful because, well, technically it's more than 4% because it was a massive reversal. So what does this mean moving forward? And yeah, I'll give you my thoughts. If I haven't mentioned it already, I am not a financial advisor, of course. I just want to make that very clear. But Tesla, again, massive day. So just from the top of the day to the bottom of the day, it is down about 6.5%. I want to open up TrendSpider here quickly because TradingView still has this glitch where Friday's candle, the wick at the top, is incorrect. So I do want to go ahead and bring out Tesla on the daily on TradingView or TrendSpider because it actually is not glitched. And the reason I want to bring it out here is because it shows something that the other candle kind of isn't, which is going to be a bearish engulfing. We have officially formed, because the wick is too long here, right? But we have officially formed, we pretty much formed a bearish engulfing candle on Tesla, right? This is not good, guys. This is not what you want to be seeing as a bull. And there's many other very concerning things that are happening right now, but we are forming a bearish engulfing candle where today's candle pretty much more or less fully encapsulates the previous day's candles trading range, which we pretty much did today with a very large, in this case, red candle. This is what a bearish engulfing candle looks like, and you can see a Tesla performance, it is about a 79% reversal of the time, right? That's a pretty high odds, right? So if there is a reversal structure to form that has, you know, that should at the very least open your eyes and kind of make you go, I'm paying attention. This is probably one of them, right? This is definitely one of the most powerful, and a bullish engulfing being the opposite. Of course, very powerful reversal indicators. And then unfortunately, we did print the bearish one today on the daily. Now, not all hope is lost. There is still some hope. I'll go over that as well, but just obviously take that into account. I'm assuming Tesla's selling off based on the California news with the essentially the removal, if you will, of Tesla from being able to get the EV credits and whatnot, and just the discounts essentially in California, which is of course one of the bigger places that Tesla sells their EVs in, really America as a whole. But let's see how that plays out moving forward. So bearish engulfing, watch for that moving forward. That is a reversal structure, and in my opinion, honestly, a red day tomorrow / closing below the 8 EMA tomorrow on the daily chart most likely confirms that reversal structure, and we most likely continue our way overall down. Now, before I go into the good news, because there is still some good news, it's not all bad news yet, right? But you know, let's go over the 1 hour chart really quickly. Now, the 1 hour chart is interesting because what do we do for most of the last, you know, couple of days of sessions? Well, like I said many times, we've been setting up a very beautiful looking. Let me remove these candles for now. I'm not that, I'm removing market price for now. We were setting up a nice looking rising triangle pattern, right? Where we're essentially setting up equal highs and higher lows, constantly doing that. And then we ended up breaking out essentially, right? And this was the breakout right here. And then we set up a nice little both leg to close Friday off, which got everyone excited. And we did pump. We actually didn't have a nice looking gap up, but we had a massive 1 hour bearish engulfing candle. And then from there, we went sideways into a further continued sell off. And the issue here that I don't like is, number one, this was a false breakout. Number two, which is similar to number one, I guess, is the fact that this bull flag that we did form on Friday, well, didn't really play out very well, right? I mean, you can argue this small little pop was it, but the fact that we collapsed back under it with the bearish engulfing on the 1 hour is not ideal. So that's not good. That's not what I want to be seeing whatsoever. But the thing I really didn't like, okay, remember I even said on Friday how, you know, okay, worst case scenario, maybe we come down and do this right here, which is what we did, right? I'm like, okay, even if we do that, it's still fine, right? It's still fine as long as we hold this range, right? Because, well, this range back here was a massive resistance. Now I want to see it turn into massive support, and we were trying to do that. That's the good thing, or not the good thing, but the thing to note, we were trying to do it, and for the most part, Tesla was doing it pretty successfully for the majority of the day. It did turn this area into support. That was good. That was potentially very positive moving forward. But unfortunately, what happened towards the end of the day, and especially really the last hour roughly, massive, very aggressive sell-off. Now, granted, the volume was a little bit on the lower end, so it's not, some crazy high volume sell-off, but nonetheless, it does still, regardless, take into account the fact that it is breaking very crucial levels that you don't want to see broken. For instance, like I said, I did not want to see this level broken. It's kind of 346, 347 to as high as 350. Like this $3-ish range, I did not want that to break. I wanted it to hold just like it was trying to do over here for the majority of the day. But we did not, right? We did not do that, and we ended up going back below and closing at the lows of the day as well. And we're down even further post-market. So I don't like to see these kind of things, right? These things are not bullish to me. These are very, like, this is just, I just view this now as a very large false breakout. And again, I don't like false breakouts, right? Now, obviously not every false breakout has to, snapshot it in the opposite direction, but most of them do. Most of them do. So moving forward, right? That's kind of the 1 hour chart, just to show you the structure on the 1 hour has completely eroded for the bulls, in my opinion. It's not bullish whatsoever, in my opinion. However, like I said, actually, before I go to the good news, there's still a couple more bad news. The daily MACD, bearish. It just officially flipped bearish, and Tesla is a stock that, especially when it happens all the way up here, or on the flip side, if it flips bullish all the way down here, it is a stock that respects that. It is a stock that respects these kind of MACD crossovers. Now, I know a lot of people like to meme on the MACD. Everyone's like, MACD, everyone uses MACD. It's such a basic indicator. I did switch my settings around a little bit. I'm a little bit more aggressive with it now, but not a whole lot. So for instance, even if I'm sure if I put it to the default settings, it probably hasn't crossed just yet. Mine's a little bit more aggressive. It hasn't crossed just yet on the default settings. So mine are a little bit more aggressive. So take that into account. It's not the traditional settings, but it catches moves a bit faster. Now, it obviously can have a bit more false signals, but in my opinion, when the MACD crosses bullish or bearish all the way up here or all the way down here, there's a less chance of it being a false signal. False signals usually occur when it happens somewhere in the middle area where you constantly kind of zigzagging like this, and maybe the stock is going sideways or whatever. So the MACD has crossed bearish, essentially is what I'm saying. That's not ideal, but the good news is this. There's, again, like I said, it's not all bad news. There's a lot of bad news, but it's not all bad news. And the good news is potentially it may be good enough. It may be good enough. And that is simply the 8 EMA, right? The 8 EMA. So essentially, you see this little green band, right? This is a slightly more, I have two bands that I usually follow. This market bias is more slow, but more prominent and more, more weight, I guess, behind it, right? This little kind of band that's, obviously a little more aggressive, well, it's more aggressive. It's a little faster paced, right? And it's essentially the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. So 8 EMA above 21 EMA, green band, it's bullish. Flip, it's bearish. Pretty simple stuff. But on top of that, the 8 EMA, whenever stock is going parabolic, is usually phenomenal at having that kind of short-ish term support for continued momentum upwards. And that's exactly where Tesla is post-market right now, actually. Being down about this 0.7%, right? It's pretty much right at that 8 EMA. You can see ever since this rally essentially has begun, number one, I mean, even off of this gap up from earnings, number one, once the 21 flipped, the 8 EMA flipped above the 21, you can see it never actually closed back below, right? The bands have been green since. But especially since this kind of, post-election Trump rally, if you will, has begun, Tesla has never closed, importantly, closed below the 8 EMA, which is of course the top line, right? It got really close here and it went below it, but it never closed below it. So that's going to be something I'll be watching for moving forward, right? If we close below the 8 EMA, so essentially tomorrow, that'll be somewhere around 336.5, roughly, something like that, right? If we close below the 8 EMA, that to me tells me that the short-term momentum is very much falling off a cliff for the bulls. Next stop will be, of course, the 21 EMA, which will be all the way down here to the bottom of the band, sitting closer to $310 per share. That'll be the next stop. And if we lose that as well, I believe the correction will most likely officially begin. We most likely will make our way down, and we most likely will continue to my overall price target, which, I mean, it changed slightly because we did make a slight higher high, obviously. But again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if the correction were to continue, and if, for instance, just losing the 8 EMA alone is already a potential concerning sign, again, the 618 Fibonacci level is very similar to the same level I've been mentioning the whole time. Just now it's about 286 as opposed to about 285. That's the level where, again, I personally get very excited, and especially around 270. Still not saying we're going to get there. I know people get very mad when I say that. Like, oh my God, that's not going to go there. I don't care if it goes there. If it goes there, I'm buying. If it doesn't, I have my long-term shares I'm holding. It's a win-win to me, no matter what happens. I could not care less. But that is where I get excited, these levels down here. I'm not very excited up here. At least I was, honestly. We did set up a pretty nice looking pattern. I'm not going to lie. This was just some massive, massive fake outs. This was a beautiful looking pattern. This had potential. This had potential. But my issue is the fact that pretty much over the weekend and honestly for the last week or so, I don't think I've seen a single bearish chart on Tesla on Twitter or X. Every single chart and every single person I've seen posting about Tesla, everyone's been bullish. Everyone's been saying 400 is next, December 400, 500 December. Everyone is bullish. Like literally, I don't think I've seen a single bearish chart on Tesla. Not one. And you know what that usually means, right? I'm just saying that's usually what happens. Think of it back when Tesla was all the way, like for instance, down here. How many people were calling for Tesla sub 100 down here? How many people? Go back to my video when I was doing this technical analysis back here. This was back on about mid-ish April. You can go back to this. I pretty much called the bottom down here too, right? I was a couple of days early, I'll admit, but I pretty much called the bottom down here. I still remember this day. Not every single, but a lot of people were calling for sub 100 down here, and now everyone up here is calling for above 400. Not a single bearish chart. That's usually a potential indicator that you want to be careful. And this is why I haven't been going too crazy on Tesla here, because everyone is bullish. Every single person is bullish, and that has me a little bit concerned. So with that being said and done, that's kind of what I got for you moving forward, right? Taking a quick look at the weekly. I mean, the weekly here is kind of messed up because of the wick from last week, right? The weekly is not really giving too much information, but honestly, if we close the week below 330, watch out for that, because that would be also a weekly bearish engulfing candle. And don't forget, this week is a shorter week. Thursday, the market's closed entirely. Friday, the market is about half open. Closes at 1 p.m. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. I mean, this should be in theory a bullish week for the market. And I mean, the market is up, right? SPY is up 0.3%, QQQ is up 0.16, which isn't crazy, but it's up. It's up, right? It's up. While NVIDIA and Tesla, not so much. So let's see how it plays out. Let's see what happens moving forward. But again, I'm not gonna lie, there are some definite signs of concern based on today's closure and based on the patterns I'm seeing. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to say what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe Tesla has another fake out, bear trap, and we rock it. Always a possibility. That's why I don't own shorts. But as it stands right now, yeah, a little bit concerning. I'm not gonna lie. But watch for that 8 EMA tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.